All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Chris Buncic. He is the CEO of Condor Resources. And Chris, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, good to have you along. And you put out an update on a number of different things that are happening with the company. It's very busy right now. Lots of things are going on. Most importantly was Pucamayo. You gave a really good synopsis on what's happening at Pucamayo. So first off, tell me a bit about Pucamayo and where things are at right now, because I know you're waiting for some pretty important milestones.
Yeah, and just on that, there are a number of things that we're working on. Probably, I'd say that there are four things that, if any one of them kind of came to pass in the short term, any one of which would be material for the story. And so, I guess for your listeners and watchers, stay tuned for more information on those things as they unfold. At Pucamayo, certainly it's our flagship project. It's the most important to Condor right now, and I'd say we're making progress with our DIA application for the southeast target, which is a little bit further from the area that was drilled in the fall. The drilling program that happened in the fall, while we didn't hit those big kind of headline grades, they were very confirmatory of our thesis that we've got this, this magmatic center overlain by some type of epithermal mineralization. And so when we got back the results from that drill program, we could see, in the mineralization from the drill hole that we're likely sitting on top of a porphyry, and above that porphyry, we've got high sulfidation type mineralization that's consistent with that epithermal. And so, we're still very excited about this target. We did a survey back in April, so an airborne magnetic survey. And what that came back to show us was there's actually two hydro-magmatic magnetic targets on the project itself. So one over where we drilled in the fall, but also one in that southeast area that we're very excited about. And, all of the geochemical work that's been done so far, the IP that's been done so far is again corroborated by this magnetic survey. And so once we get through the DIA process, probably in the early fall, we'll be able to kick off that next drill program. And so, news of that event will be important for the story for sure.
Yeah, and that could be up to 40 holes, that you're applying for. It's a pretty substantial mining license and also that DIA, as you call it, as well.
That's right. Yeah, it'll certainly open the door for a large scale exploration program. We're just excited to get into that area because these are kind of flat. One of these epithermal deposits can be relatively flat lying, close to surface. And what we drilled off in the fall, we had 72 meters of a gram per ton gold, and while that's not that exciting, there was that little snippet of that 2 meters of 10 grams of gold or 19 grams per ton gold equivalent, and so that's what we're trying to find. And I think that over in the southeast, when we can get drilling over there, it's something that we could find. We've got a new presentation up on our website, and so it gives a good kind of indication of what we think is there. But I'd say that this looks very much like one of the Yanacocha pits, where they had this overlying granular silica cap that had been leached, and the gold falls down below by gravity. And so when they went to go drill that off, they had some great results. And so that's kind of our analogy for what we hope to find in the southeast.
Okay. As I mentioned, you talked about a number of other projects. The only one I want to touch on right now is Andrea, because I think that one's is interesting as well. And so maybe just give us an update there, and maybe what else you're waiting for in the next couple of months that could really be significant for the company.
Yeah, so Andrea, it's been relatively dormant for the past number of years, and I'm not expecting it to become very active in the short term. But the door has been opened, and we're starting to have conversations with the local community. And one thing that Condor has always done exceptionally well is local relationship management. And so we've always been very close to the community. That we've done an excellent job at Pucamayo, for example. All of the other projects which the company has been successful in optioning off. And so again, this we would expect to have great engagement from Andrea. There's been a bit of a delay there because of, I guess, some problems in the area with other companies and their mining outfits and projects. And so we're just happy now that the dust is settled, and they are happy to re-engage with us. I think that again, that could take some time, but we hope to make some progress there in the short term. Wiyak Punta is certainly one that I'd like to comment on. Huinac
Yeah.
Punta is a CRD type deposit. It's like, I came from Senate Resources, and that's very much what the El Machito mine was based off of. It's still in operation after 75 years. And so in a CRD type deposit, you've got your hydrothermal fluids coming up from below, and the last one to reach the surface is the silver rich one. And so what we're finding on surface and certainly in the grab samples are high grade silver grab samples. And what we would hope to find below, where we see this, kilometer wide anomaly on the geophysics by, kilometer deep, what we'd want to see there is a high grade silver asset on surface that again extends down to depth, and we follow that trend down to that base. And so what's happening at Huinac Punta is we are going through the consulta previa process, which is a governmental process that's mandated for certain projects that are in culturally sensitive areas. We're making some progress there. And so I'm hopeful that by the early fall, again, like Pucamayo, we'll be in a position where we can be drilling at Huinac Punta as well.
Well, it's going to be a busy next couple of months for sure. Chris, thanks so much for updating us. As I mentioned, you've been very busy, and appreciate you making some time for us.
Of course. Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate it.
All right. There's Chris Buncic, the CEO of Condor Resources.